Poisonrana.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana. You found us on whatever podcast app you are listening to us on. Click that subscribe. And we are
live on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod. How are we doing?
hello.
I'm growing to like the /@.
The slash. You're becoming
at
a
first
slash
it didn't
at.
roll off the tongue, but now I'm like, yeah, let's own it.
Wow.
/@ PoisonRanaPod.
The slash at. It is harder to like put in sharing it. Sometimes certain websites don't like the at thing. They think you're trying to tag something. So it is sometimes hard and difficult. So I'm pretty anti at slash, to be honest.
We
Wait,
need a
slash at?
Yeah, I think we just need to own it.
Just,
Until enough of you hit that subscribe button that we can get the at out.
yeah.
But maybe we need like a /@ t-shirt.
/@ Yeah, definitely. Let's do it. Well, when we get our t-shirt website up and running.
Exactly, yeah.
When we create our own.
Yeah. Chicago's been too busy for us.
I think they have some free time on their hands. Welcome, everyone, to Poisonrana. We are the BDE. We are here to chat all about some wrestling. And oh boy, was there some wrestling and some big things happening this weekend. It finally happened. R-Truth is back.
The return of R-Truth.
He's
back.
And he was there to eat Ruffles, and now we know why he's called R-Truth, because he loves Ruffles. And I don't know about you, but
crisps, right?
Crisps. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So R-Truth is back, and he's eating Ruffles on the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are eating Ruffles. We unfortunately didn't have any last night on hand, but it definitely made me want some.
Had enough Guinness on hand.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Davey got lit last night.
Yeah.
Davey looked like, for about 30 minutes towards the end of the night, you looked like you were just constantly trying to hula hoop an invisible hula hoop. If you can envision what that looks like, you're just.
All I'll say is eating is not cheating, guys.
You should have stuck to Pepsi.
And maybe a Pepsi plunge.
Yeah, that's right. We held a Survivor Series watch party in the 6 downtown Toronto at Gabby's King Street West. And yeah, we had a packed house all joining us to watch Survivor Series, which was a lot of fun. So shout out anyone made the said hi to us, came to our show, watched some wrestling. Maybe you won a prize. Someone walked out champion. Shout out Rob. Rob robbed everyone, but not a lot of people bought raffles, so Rob did. So he bought the most, and that shows that you just got to buy the most, and you'll win
to win it.
Exactly. So shout out
put your
Rob.
Money where your mouth is, as Tony Khan would say. Yeah.
So shout out all the peeps who.
We did have a couple of Lucha champions as well before and after the Santos Escobar Dragon Lee match. We gave away a Rey Mysterio mask as well as a Dragon Lee mask.
Yeah.
And they seem pretty happy with that.
Yeah. We shout out Pure Fandom. We got those masks from them. Like, they have some crazy masks, and we gave them away at our last event in the UK, and people loved them, but we gave them out for some winners here. You did some trivia. We had some drink specials. We had some food specials. Shout out your EO fries.
EO fries. Yeah. Yeah, like a kind of Asian poutine. So fries, beef, and like a ginger sesame sauce.
Yeah, it was pretty good, actually.
Cheese curds. It was pretty tasty.
Yeah. So there was that. Then, of course, the drink menu. We did all the classics: the Poisonranas, the Bloodline Punch,
Bloodline Spritz.
The Pepsi Plunge.
The American Nightmare.
The Pepsi Plunge was a hit, and then something must have happened in the night that just caused more people to start ordering it, which is the alcohol free, right?
Yeah, it sounds disgusting, but it's pretty tasty. Milk, Coke, and grenadine
with a cherry on top.
Sounds ridiculous, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'd rather go suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you fucking dork. Sorry, that came out of left field there. Yeah, everyone started ordering Pepsi because CM Punk showed back up. And boy, I mean, the crowd seemed pretty crazy watching that. It felt like Chicago was waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, the Punk chants were there in the night, but I wouldn't say they like hijacked the show or whatever. I think they came about in kind of mainly in that main event in moments where you think, oh, potentially we could have a Punk come out at this point or
Yeah.
whatever. But it wasn't like the days of old where it was, we're bored, let's just shit on this match and chant CM Punk.
Yeah.
But there was definitely hopes and expectations there from this crowd.
Definitely, they did the show the Friday night, and I saw some clips online of crowd like videos, and the wrestlers were interacting with it. And the fact that they did would definitely had my gears going a bit like, okay, hold on a second. There's no reason Seth or Cody would have done those kinds of bits if something wasn't to happen there. Oddly enough, Living Color released a like remastered edition version of the song yesterday, like the day before. So that also had people going off. Didn't help that ESPN also posted, "Hey, who's ready for Survivor Series?" with a picture of CM Punk on it. So people were like,
I wasn't paying too much attention like to Twitter or anything yesterday. So it was still one of those things where like I'll believe it when I see it kind of thing. Like I did see him coming into the company at some point. I didn't necessarily see it now.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it was like his return was spoiled by any means, even though the rumblings were there. For me, it was when the match ended at 11.
Right.
And I was like, okay, this is very short for a WWE PLE.
Yeah.
And they had the graphic up and it's like,
yeah.
So I was ready. I had my phone ready to capture the bar's reaction.
Like, okay, if you've watched any of the NXT stuff, Triple H like made famous the graphic up.
Yeah.
And like I think most people, if you're listening to this, you probably are aware of that too. But like the graphic up actually was like, I stood up when the graphic went up. I went, oh my God, this is happening.
It's happening.
And then the camera panned out like it was going to be a rainmaker or a hug. And then the music hit. And I was like, holy, they actually did it. And a lot of us, we had, maybe just under 100 people at the bar last night. And everyone's reaction was like hands on the head, like, wow.
Yeah.
People went crazy in Chicago screaming like his name. And I mean, the guy just came out and said, I'm back kind of again. And
it's clobbering time. This is my house or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then the show's over. So like, I
think Raw's going to do a huge number.
Yeah. I would imagine
against football. I think it's going to do very, very well. Great moment at the end of the show. I love all the stuff coming out after with Rollins. Like this wasn't captured on TV, but you're seeing all this fan footage of Rollins losing his mind and him saying, you better like get fucking back there before I fucking knock you out. And like Corey Graves and Michael Cole are being the ones that holding him back, which just made it feel a bit more legit than, Adam Pearce and all the like referees holding him back. It's like, Michael Cole's got an office job there as well. He's like, whoa. I thought it was great. I thought as an angle, I believe it to be a shoot.
Yeah.
An
angle.
Work. Yeah. And, but yeah, it's stuff they wouldn't necessarily get away with on the pay-per-view, Seth dropping F-bombs and flipping off Punk, but fan footage of it makes it feel a bit more real. I think that's great. And I do see that being the Mania match between those two.
The good news is CM Punk can finally main event at WrestleMania. Hey, Seth too. He kind of technically did, but like, to do it one more time.
Yeah.
He kind of did, but
properly, announced match. Yeah.
The thing is, Seth's got a job to a second AEW boy again. Like he did it for Cody. He's got to do it for Punk.
I don't know. Like with it being like, I assume being a Mania program, you could go either way because you can have Punk unbeaten until then. I do see him wrestling before.
Yeah, this feels like there's so much to unpack here because of just this guy becoming like the biggest thing in wrestling. Like he hasn't been wrestling a lot this year and he's still instantly the number one wanting people to hear. He's just like the most interesting one that everyone wants to be talking about, to hear what he has to do. When it comes down to his wrestling, it doesn't really matter. The wrestling is like the last important thing, it seems, when it comes to this guy. Like obviously he still somewhat delivers, but like he is the most talked about person in wrestling, period. Like people who don't watch wrestling know this guy because you probably keep hearing people bring this guy's name up all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is crazy. And we had a watch party and the bar went crazy, right? The pay-per-view ends and we started playing wrestling music, but then the press conference started. So you put the audio back on. Dude, people came like gotten up to leave, we're like, hold on, actually wait, us. And Triple H's like first few bits about CM Punk and the press conference, which was just crazy interesting because we had people like who had left the bar and then we were like, wait, they're playing that? Wait, I'm gonna come back.
Triple H saying like, you know, that was 10 years ago. I'm a different person now.
Yeah.
He's a different person now. Like, if the fans want it, let's give it to them. Like, kind of being like, you know, we ain't best friends, but willing to work with the guy and stuff.
Yeah.
Just saying like he's a different person now. The guy got fired like 2 months ago for like threatening to kill his boss, you know, throwing monitors around. And
but he ain't doing that to Triple H,
Boy.
you know?
But, like,
yeah.
So,
yeah. Is there any other famous celebrities who have kids that are now wrestlers in the WWE that Punk might try to like fight with? We're lucky that dude from NXT, Chris Christopherson's son's gone.
He's not around.
Any actors who've got kids, you're fucking screwed.
Punk is just like, he falls upwards, doesn't he? Like he's one firing away to be like on the board.
Every time this guy gets into trouble, he gets a promotion. Yeah. he gets to go to WWE, he gets to leave WWE. He gets to go to AEW, he gets to leave.
I feel like it was, you know, it's like this like guys going out with like the jock is going out with the cheerleader. And then the jock treats the cheerleader pretty badly. And then she leaves him to go for this nice, geeky lad who's just, you know, really nice, polite, nerdy. And then
loves his video games.
Yeah. And they have a great time. And then she leaves him and goes back to the jock. And you just see the poor, heartbroken little nerd playing his video games, crying.
He could still be happy. Like, you know, but right now the jock also like would win like the lottery or gets a new job that's like a lot more money involved or something. It's very strange, but like you cannot deny that. Look, I'm not the biggest Punk fan in the world, but you cannot deny like the star power that he has now. He's at that level. Really, the dude who should be sweating is Cody Rhodes.
Well, I mean, I think you know, like you got to do. Like, hopefully, Punk, I've got Branavan in the chat saying, I give Punk a year and a half. Well, year and a half, that would be 2 Manias. So you can do Seth 1 year, Seth 1 year, Roman the next.
Right.
I feel we're still getting Cody Roman this year.
Okay.
If Rock comes back in, that's...
that's what I mean. Cody's sweating,
bro. But,
Cody's an afterthought.
I think what's great is, like, I've been enjoying a lot of WWE recently. I think they've stepped it up on many levels. The storytelling's way more coherent, and you know, they're paying things off and they're remembering their histories and stuff like that. Promos have got better as well, and
Triple H is king.
Yeah, and I think there's like one of the matches I was excited about on this show was Miz and Gunther, and that's purely down to the build they gave to this with the promos. And I think Seth is someone that when he's a bit too much into his like Joker character is a bit two-dimensional, but we've seen when he wants to tap into a serious side, like thinking like that segment with Riddle, you know, he's good and like you can believe him a lot more. So I think I'm looking forward to just the like vocal sparring between him and Punk. But there's a lot of other people I'm interested to see Punk like have those segments with, because you feel Punk's always feels more unscripted, even in a heavily scripted WWE PG era. He still just felt like someone hadn't just given him lines to read, you know? So I'm excited to see what he brings out of other people.
Yeah, definitely. Like the fun part about him in AEW was seeing like the new like the MJF feud in Punk was one of the best feuds AEW's probably put together. And now seeing that kind of, there's so many different people that you could do that with, that just giving that rub will help so much. Like Grayson Waller is someone that definitely stepped up, in my opinion, from like his time in NXT, but becoming like one of the best trolls that WWE has right now. Kind of like an MJF light, but he's more like goofy and reality star-esque kind of. And he's been great on social media, pretty much like teasing the Punk stuff without saying anything. And like, you could easily have a program that helps to get that guy, even in losing to Punk. Like that's something that helps. There's so many other guys in there, but when it comes to like matches and some big feuds, Like easily Cena needs to retire. We got his opponent now.
Yeah.
Like Edge fucked up and left because that would have been your spot. But now it's Punk.
You could totally do that. Obviously the Roman feud, but what's interesting with that is Paul Heyman. Yes. Revisiting that relationship, which will be good. And
I mean, the last thing that WWE fans remember of Punk, imagine you just didn't watch AEW and you're just like, holy shit, wow, it's been this long. Why did he choose this time to come back? He really just had to point at Randy and be like, hey, like he had no issue with any of these people yet. And it's because everyone in the ring is bigger than him. So I don't, he might not start fights, but yeah, like the Roman thing, right? Yeah. Like in that podcast, he basically shit all over them, protect Roman.
And Roman saying quite recently, I feel that podcast was added a lot of the negativity when they were trying to get me over as a babyface. Right. And that podcast turned a lot of people, because you watch that Rumble from 2014 when Batista wins and Roman's at the end and everyone's behind Roman at that point.
Yeah.
Fast forward a year, they're booing The Rock out the building, trying to get this guy over.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's Punk's fault.
And I think Punk had a lot to do with that. So that's definitely something interesting.
Like he was also supposed to be the lead. Like he was the guy who created the Shield essentially. Yeah. And then they switched out Chris Hero for Roman Reigns. Yeah. So it's like, then they had Roman and the Shield pretty much being his guys. And then that all just disappeared. And then they were the Shield. And then, yeah, like the big match would be Roman now versus Punk now, but would that be your WrestleMania? Would that be next year? Like,
I think you do 41.
Yeah. So Roman beats Cody at Mania, beats Hogan's record, and then loses it to Punk next year.
Wow.
Where's next year?
Chicago?
They don't get enough,
I don't think they've announced yet. I'm trying to think of other people. I could see him, like he enjoyed his 6-man tags in AEW. I could see him wanting to team up with the New Day for just some fun 6-mans on TV, maybe.
Yeah, he needs FTR. Definitely, like, who do we have to punch out and choke out to get fired? Because CMFTR, right?
Gunther Punk.
Gunther
something
Punk,
I'd love to see.
Cody Punk. Obviously, that's something we didn't get in AEW.
Kevin Owens Punk.
Sami
Zayn Punk.
Yeah, there's some definite history, like with Kevin Owens basically following in the footsteps of Punk and always saying like, this guy helped. Definitely, like I followed where he,
like we can definitely ride the babyface wave for a bit, but I think Punk is also money when he's a heel. So I think there's a whole load of options.
I mean, he's got to do he's got to do everything he did in AEW, just redo right now. Like excuse me.
Where's Bobby Fish?
Yeah. No, but like being like the guy that just the crowds will come to see. Like it's very unfortunate because for AEW, because Triple H kind of said it best in that presser. He's like, yeah, this is like a different move, but if it's what the people want, then like I'll do anything in that power to make it work. Mm-hmm. And that's what he did. Like if people actually don't like this guy, they'll probably still work with him. Where in AEW, was he maybe an asshole? Did he maybe punch some people out or choke people out? It's possibly true, but in the end of the day, he was fired and then goes back to WWE, where he's now going to make like instantly probably double the amount of money, if not triple, if not, more so, not just because of contracts, but shirts and stuff we've seen that like merch mover of everything. So I imagine his WWE, they put up a shirt right away, right? Obviously. Yep. So it's like right away, this guy's going to sell 1 million shirts by like this week. And like he's laughing because, but
I wonder what kind of schedule he'll be on.
Yeah, I imagine he's treated as some of like the big guys who don't
I could
work
see him
all
doing
the time.
some TV though.
I
see him more maybe like, like Ronda Rousey's schedule, where not every pay-per-view, but a lot of the pay-per-views, the odd TV match.
I imagine it's going into WrestleMania season that we will see a lot of him because he will be featured at Mania.
Like, I see him in the Rumble. He's never won a Rumble, has he?
There's a time and a place for everything.
Final four.
Is it too late to book the
Cody, Gunther, Punk, and
Seth?
Seth will probably be.
Oh wait, he's the champion. He's the fake champion.
Fake champion. I am. I'm definitely tuning into Raw tomorrow. I'm interested. And I think like you look the roster's pretty strong right now. There's a lot of like interesting opponents that you can fill for the next couple of years.
Right.
With Punk.
Punk wins the Rumble, beats Roman. Let's go. Book it. Is it too late to change the Rumble to Chicago? Where is it? Tampa?
It's Tampa, yeah.
They'll cheer him down there. It's not far enough. It definitely changes everything. Like going back to AEW, it's like, hey, if you did somehow work this out, he probably wouldn't have left, and you guys would be in a better spot than you are right now. Because as much as I'm a huge fan, it doesn't change how I feel about AEW. Won't lie though, we didn't watch Collision last night because we were watching this show, and then we had an event and everything, and then I didn't really have time to. I don't even know what happened. Yeah. I'll probably watch it sometime this week, maybe, if I don't get spoiled. But like, sorry, like it was a big thing where everyone just wanted to hang out and talk about Punk.
Like, I do think it was the right move to fire him. Like, by all accounts, everything that happened, you can't have someone around that's doing that. But you're just handing him.
Yeah, you just gave it to like your biggest star.
That's exactly
to them.
what happens.
And that's what happened like 2 years ago, last year, with Cody.
Yeah.
So like, it is like you're the developmental for their main event. Like they just took the same Punk design that he was selling on that shirt. Like it's like Cody came in with his logos, his music. Punk's like, yeah, you already got my music and logos, and they really just gave it to him. And it's gonna take a lot for AEW to catch back the steam that they had when they did have him. Like AEW, they were in the honeymoon phase before Punk. We loved it. It was great alternative. But then Vince is gone now, and Triple H is running things, and Triple H seems to actually like, we stand Triple H now. I stand for Paul Levesque.
Have a long time,
love what he's been doing now. And like, if again, I'm someone who does not check out all the other stuff, but if they start cooking the way they used to, like, there's no reason they can't.
Like, Mania will be packed.
Yeah, Mania's gonna be crazy already.
The card is gonna be nuts. Yeah. And
2 nights.
And I think
Punk's main event.
You rarely hear about backstage issues in WWE. Not to say they don't happen. Like, I think the last one that comes to my mind, and they were like paying it off kind of on this show, is the Charlotte Becky thing from Survivor Series a couple of years ago, where they seemed to legit not like each other, and it came across in that awful like belt trading segment. But you don't hear much about backstage issues, and Punk coming in a few months ago, like trying to make amends, it seems, chatting to the Miz, and like, if him and Triple H can be kind of cool, you would imagine everyone else is like, might not like the guy, but we're here to do business, and being a bit more grown up about it than people in AEW, where it has a bit of that inmates running the asylum feel at times in AEW, and that's why things like this happen. A big business like WWE, they're not going to let this shit happen, I don't think.
Yeah, the picture that Triple H posted with CM Punk last night in Gorilla was Cold Day in Hell.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like, this guy ripped on you a lot.
Yeah.
And Triple H is like, yeah, no worries. He's going to make me fucking $5 million more richer this year. Yeah. Or the problem
is still Raw, isn't it? Still Raw is up for negotiations, like TV deals.
Yeah.
Like, you're just throwing, like, Raw is stacked right now. Like, if Randy is sticking around on Raw right now as well, you got, Randy, Seth, Cody.
No, we don't care any of those guys anymore now. Punk's here now. We got the new.
You've got a loaded roster of stars, right?
Didn't it feel like that?
Keep that for now until Raw's got its landing spot, and then you can split it up and move some people to SmackDown, keep people on Raw. But
like after this, you're like, oh yeah, Cody, yeah, true, yeah, you fought in your first War Games, yeah, cool. We'll get into the pay-per-view. I'm sure we're gonna spend a lot more time on this, but because it changes, like, definitely changes everything. Like, when Punk did his presser at the first All In he was at, like, after showing up, or right after facing Darby, he was like, oh, this is like the NWO coming over, me, Danielson, and Adam Cole. And then, like, a few months later, he kind of retracted that statement. He was like, oh, I was just, being silly. It's not actually that. Because Eric Bischoff was like, you're not like the mover you think you are, right? I think with him being on WWE, he will potentially be a mover, because as many times as we watch everything of wrestling that we can get our hands on, because we're like obsessed marks, there's people out there who would run into CM Punk at a coffee shop and be like, "Oh man, I really miss you wrestling. When are you coming back?" He's like, "I'm fucking wrestling like tonight." So it's like there will be a lot of people.
I mean, just think how
watching him.
How Cody Rhodes was stardust before he left WWE.
Yeah.
Definitely made himself more of a star outside of WWE, but then the fans were turning on him. His like star power seemed to like drop a bit. But right when he was in WWE, he felt like a huge star. He still hasn't even won the title yet. And he's like one of their top main characters and way bigger than ever. Like Punk was already a star when he left WWE, and he's just going to be even.
They just primed him up, man. Now. They just primed him up. They told him he learned maybe he won't fight anyone. We're talking about dream matches, but what are some fights that you think might happen? Who likes
Mysterio?
Dominik Mysterio. He posted last night when Punk came out, like later on at night because he was in the ring, I guess. He posted video of Punk's UFC fight where he's getting beat up, or was it the other one? Oh wait, that was he posted it. So that's him, just whatever. Yeah. But I don't think anyone has legit beef with him.
I definitely see Dom and Punk having a match. Within 6 months.
True. There you go. There's some rich guy's kid.
Who else? Who's like a shit disturber? I'm looking at maybe NXT people.
Oh man,
everyone's so well behaved.
Oh man, going back to Dom. Dom could be like, "Yo, you're the reason you gave me like all these issues." Remember the feud? Isn't there a feud with Punk where Dominik's a kid?
Yeah. So,
with the Straight Edge Society, and Dom like he bullies Dom or gets in Dom's like face and either attacks him or something. So Dom could be like, "It's all because like you messed me up, man." I'm like the Seth thing. Seth, when he did that video interview where he's like, "Oh, he's a cancer, don't come back here," I was like, that's him being like, "Yo, come back."
There's quite a good story you could do there where like Punk is wanting that title, and Seth, I think, can tread that line still as a babyface, being like, "You don't deserve a shot at this. I want to give this to people who've, been here day in, day out for the last 10 years where you've been off doing nothing."
Yeah.
Like denying him it, and then you could have him win the Rumble or whatever to challenge him. So I think that's a way you could really like hold off this match for the 5 months till Mania, something like that.
Yeah. Again, Punk coming to here is just big business where I think a lot of people just instantly want to watch and want to tune in. And I think AEW were doing the right thing with Punk when they had him, but clearly that not working out. It's interesting what they'll do. Like they're still great product, but it's definitely like a big blow to them.
It was never going to work as long as you had people not willing to work together.
Yeah.
Like Punk coming in, like you wanted to see, he listed it when he first came to AEW.
Yeah.
I want to face Kenny Omega. I want to tag with Danielson against the Young Bucks. Like those are two huge things that we were never able to get.
Right.
Like I think there was money in a Hangman, like another match against Hangman down the line.
Right.
I think while Cody was there was money in a Punk Cody match, which obviously that can happen in WWE now. Punk Danielson again. There was so much left on the table there that they just didn't get to. And definitely not being able to pull the trigger on like a Punk and Kenny because of issues is like, well, you can't, you've got this huge star and you can't use him.
Yeah.
Imagine if Roman was like, "Oh, I can't face Cena, Seth, Owens, Zayn.
Right.
We're not friends." Like, okay, so who are we having matches against then?
Well, yeah. I mean, going to some of the things Kenny said, he's basically like, I had no issues. It kind of sounds like it may have been the Bucks.
Yeah.
Which, like, as much as I am a huge fan of them as well, like, yeah, if that's the case, like, sorry, like, you didn't do business. Someone should have been the business person there. There should have been a boss move there to been like, actually, no, you guys are going to chat. If there's like, if he actually assaulted someone, we go through the things. If he has to be away for you for a while, but eventually, no, we need to sort it out. This is what we do as a business. And like, we create entertainment. Yeah. And these are our two of the biggest stars. One of our friends, shout out Sam Jackson, who came to our event last night. When Punk came out, we were talking after. He's like, "Isn't it crazy? No other like movie media thing where like a character who's in like this whole other show can get fired from this show, but the same character that was on that show all of a sudden can show up on this other show that had like new people, new stars and everything, and can like reference and diss the other show, but like they can't do anything. They're different. They're different like networks, different completely leagues and stuff. And he's like, there's no other media like that. Like it's almost like, you know, like there's nothing like that. So it is interesting. Like this guy can just take everything he has, the way he looks, his shirt. I loved how he rocking the Danielson
shirt.
Yeah, new CM Punk
nice,
white
fresh,
shirt.
White shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's changing everything for sure.
What like his promo is going to be very interesting. Like, when he came to AEW, it was very clear. Like he was going to be like, this brought me back to wrestling because this is the wrestling I love, and none of this bullshit from like New York and that place made me sick, and I wasn't going to go to the place that made me sick and all that. There's so much he said that he's going to look very hypocritical.
He is a hypocrite, yeah.
But he's also a master on the mic. And so I'm interested how he does negotiate that. And, you know, like, as Triple H said, people grow, people change, opinions can change over time on certain things. It is a different company. Vince isn't really running the show anymore. It's TKO. It's Ari Emanuel's the big boss at the end of it. UFC are a big part of it. He's always had a good relationship with UFC. So those kind of things, you can be like, okay, that's cool. Like I can see you moving there. But when he announces that he's going to be going for the Tuwaiq Mountain Trophy in Saudi Arabia, that's when things are going to be interesting, because that's where you're really like going to look like a hypocrite, when it's, you know, politics involved as well.
Definitely.
Morals.
There's some things this guy said, and definitely that tweet, the blood-sucking dicks of Saudi Arabia to The Miz. Clearly, when he went to see The Miz a few months ago, when he showed up there, that's who he was talking to be like, hey, I was an asshole. I still am, but sorry. Like, I don't know. He must have, because that one comes to mind right away. Is like, holy man.
I mean, he might not. We've seen plenty of wrestlers before.
Sami Zayn is wrestling at Saudi now. I don't know, man.
Like, but Cena didn't for a while. You know, Bryan didn't for a while, like after the Khashoggi murder. But they'll offer him a lot of money and money talks. Like, you know,
money will make this guy do it. And if anything, he'd just be like, yeah, they're giving me fucking $5 million to do it. I'm gonna do it. Like, is like, I would. I'm not, you know. But the thing is, you are someone who is so like judgy and so being so critical of all these other people. So you would be a hypocrite if you were to do that. So there's definitely so many things. The buy one get four free extravaganza. Like he was going off script on WWE for like his own personal things. Yeah. Like I can't imagine them being like, hey, just say whatever you want. And he came up with these things on these promos. Like the grass is always greener. Like, no, it's not. It's terrible over there. It's like, what?
I mean, does he bring, like, he could maybe bring some of that into it, where he's come into WWE, but is still anti-WWE, you know, like that's always been his character anyway, like anti-authority and all that. So
I'd love for him to I know he's gonna say something like it's too. He could just reuse the Buck line, because he's got to get his dig in at TK, the Bucks, or someone.
Jack Perry.
Yeah, like he's gonna get his dig in somewhere along those lines. But I'd love to see a dig at Vince McMahon. Be like, I had to wait for his dumbass to get out of here to come back, or something like that, right? Fightful's reporting right now saying Punk's showing up at Raw. So I mean, like, you promote the hell out of that. I imagine
opens the show.
Yeah, pipe bomb.
Yeah, give him the first half hour of the show, and then have him run out in the main, something like that. Break his leg.
Again,
how long till he gets injured? No stage dive.
He almost stage dived. Yeah, he almost crowd dived. Did you see that? He almost did it right there.
And I was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, again, the wrestling is the least important thing when it comes to this guy. Like, his matches haven't necessarily all of them hit since coming back, but he has had some really good ones too. So not knocking it.
I enjoyed his wrestling run. I think he's great at telling a story in the ring. Obviously, WWE does that, especially in Roman matches, to an extra degree.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's lost it. Like, his style's never been like smooth. He's always been a bit rough around the edges.
Sloppy.
But like, he had some great matches. I love the Eddie Kingston match. Love the MJF series. Had some decent like TV matches as well. Like, I don't think he's necessarily past it in ring, but WWE is probably a better environment for him to work at.
Yeah.
When you're having, you know, very high work rate matches on the same show in AEW.
Yeah, he couldn't hang with Kenny if they were to do like a big match. It would just be like an all right match. I kind of thought that with some of his bigger, like the Hangman match.
That with Hangman and Mox.
Yeah, like the style just wasn't. He wasn't up to.
Whereas
par.
up against an MJF, who's more of a like storyteller in ring,
right?
Like they really connected.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely like he's still got it. I'd say he will do better matches. You're right, in WWE with the storytelling, but yeah, definitely still comes across hypocritical. Just like we watched every moment of him in AEW, and just thinking back to like so many things he's said or like done that is like anti-WWE.
He's fascinating. Like people are going to document. You see random clips on Twitter, but we need them all in like one video.
There's like a million of them online.
Yeah.
There's people who've already made like videos with this package. Probably the video on Twitter that WWE posted of his return at this point has not even been 24 hours. It's almost 20 million views.
Jake in the chat,
17, yeah,
bringing up how about he brings the bag out, as in with the real world title in it. You don't need to see the title; just have a bag.
Yeah,
dump the bag in the trash.
I mean, either you do that or like not even referencing it is more like what you'd be giving them like steam if you did that, in my opinion. But he could do that. But yeah, like not even referencing that would probably be even more of a like detriment to AEW. I know he will reference someone though. He will definitely reference TK
in his opening promo.
Yeah, he will.
Or be like, like getting into trouble, winky face, that kind of thing.
Or he's gonna be like, yeah, those guys are a bunch of bitches over there. So I keep beating them up. Yeah, he's gonna say some shit like that. Yeah.
Hangman Page will be sat at home again, like, what the fuck did I do? Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, poor Hangman. But like after watching Hangman swerve, I'm like, I don't know who would win in a fight. I think it would be Hangman.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it'll be Hangman. Yeah.
Yeah. When's Punk gonna fight someone? That's another like thing. I keep circling back to some of those.
Have we got a pay-per-view in December
for WWE?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it goes.
So Rumble's the next one?
Possibly.
Because we've had like that, like what, day one or something like that.
Yeah,
in the past, but yeah, I don't know if we must have another. That's a long time to go.
The first dance.
First dance.
Yeah. Book another Chicago show. This guy's like all.
Yeah, this
is Chicago's like Superman. This is Chicago's like White Knight. Like I don't know what else Chicago's got going on, but they got Punk.
What happened for 7 years in Chicago? Like...
they're just like, fuck yeah. AEW should not go to Chicago ever again. Because now you're gonna get Punk chance.
Well, that was what AEW were in Chicago this very week.
I know.
Yeah.
Funny, yeah. Again, it's so fascinating because I'm early 30s and I got into wrestling and all I did was like catch myself up on everything and watching like the Monday Night Wars back is something, having like the network and the channels before that, like where you could watch shit back, and I'd see how crazy it would be when it's like, wait, this guy was just on this channel and now all of a sudden he's on this show.
Yeah.
I'm watching this now, like as someone who's just obsessed with watching wrestling and loving it right now in this little bit of a boom we got, and it is interesting. I watch NXT for 3 years and Adam Cole's like the best guy going, and all of a sudden I watch this other show and he shows up.
Yeah.
CM Punk returns to wrestling on this other show. Now he's back jumping over here. It is cool seeing people jump around and still having AEW as this platform. And I know the Bucks definitely catching some flack, but like help creating that gave so many people these opportunities and jobs and stuff. But it's in a great entertaining period right now of wrestling. And I'd say CM Punk is definitely a big reason of that and going to get people talking all the time. We did this event at the bar last night and we had the place rocking. And when Punk came out, people stood up and were losing their minds. There was two guys who for some reason were actually from Chicago, but happened to had booked their like vacation to Toronto, like a weekend or whatever away here. And they saw that we were this event that we shared on Google or something.
Yeah, they booked it like hours before the event.
They saw like,
I like messaged because I was saying like, hey, if you book tickets to join other people, let me know, whatever. And it's like, no, it's just me and my son. We're coming from Chicago.
Yeah. And we're like, what? You're from Chicago, but you happen to be in Toronto to watch the show.
An event in Chicago.
Okay, right? So we're watching this, and after Punk came back and it ended and everything, the one dude was crying. The one dude was bawling. He was like, oh my God, he's back. And like, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This guy's like really emotional. We had the bar full, and by the end of the War Games match, people were like lined up outside the bar, like peeking through the windows to see like if Punk was going to come back, which I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Because going around the city, downtown Toronto, when UFC is on, that always happens. You'll see people like peeking through windows of bars, like trying to see like the finish of fights and stuff. I've never seen it for our wrestling event where people who weren't even at our event were like, yo, what's going on? Is Punk back? I'm like, that's crazy. Then flash forward a little bit. We're like leaving, and we're loading like some of our gear into our buddy's car. And this guy on a rickshaw driver drives by wearing a CM Punk shirt, blasting Cult of Personality. So our friends hold up the title belts, and he stops and he turns around and his music's blaring. And this guy is out of his mind, like, CM Punk. I'm like, were you watching at home? And then Punk came out, and you were like, "Oh fuck yeah!"
Like
put his shirt.
Winning.
Yeah, yeah.
It was one. I gotta hit the streets.
He's like, I had to go outside. I had to let people know. I'm like, what? This is insane, and this is Toronto. So I was like, "Yo, this guy, like, fuck, man, this guy definitely has his fans out there all worldwide." So, fuck it, it's best for business, and can't wait to see what happens going forward, because like it's all anyone's wanted to talk about for the past 2 years since he was in AEW, and it's just gonna get even more worse now until he beats Romans for the title.
Yeah,
until we get to that.
I don't see me. I think they will like. I think it's got to be Cody. I'm still like sure of that, but I totally see him. Possibly taking Seth's title off of him.
Yeah,
and it will definitely sell way more of those replica world titles if CM Punk's got it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get a CM Punk special edition of the title.
Spray paint the X on it.
Anti-establishment. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the rest of the show, like Survivor Series, I didn't really care for too much of the show. I thought the War Games matches were really weak, to be honest. Like, as much as the big talk is always CM Punk. He dominates anything else that's happening. So people were sent home happy regardless of the show last night. But like the men's War Games, like,
should we go in order?
Yeah, sure.
Women's. I thought the women's was fun. I think the wrestling content of both the men's and women's were good. I just think you need to. Okay, I know they don't want to do blood and stuff like that, but I think if you're doing something like a War Games, you need to up the ante a little bit.
Yeah.
And just chairs and kendo sticks aren't really it.
So soft.
I want to see some thumbtacks or something like that. Like, up the violence that little bit more. I enjoyed the actual wrestling in both matches, and I thought like the women's had some great spots. Like, obviously the EO trash can dive, which we've seen before, but a whole load of people probably didn't watch that NXT War Games.
Yeah.
So doing it
it's
on the biggest stage is like awesome. Charlotte Flair finally landing a moonsault, unfortunately in EO's face, but she actually hit someone. Yeah, it looked bad. But I enjoyed both War Games matches. I just I kind of want the violence to be upped a little.
Yeah, you could not compare these to any of the like older ones. And even the NXT ones were could not. I thought what people cared about last year was the ending with the bloodline and Sami and all that stuff. It was the same here. People just cared about Randy finally coming out, and that part was cool. And then the Punk stuff. But the actual match, I was like, man, are you gonna do anything in this match? There's a cage. I didn't feel it got to some of the violence that we've seen, even in like the retro ones, like WCW. Like, these guys are gigging and blading and stuff, and this didn't have any of that. It had people hitting their moves and using kendo sticks, like, constantly repeated, and I was just pretty pretty bored.
I really enjoyed, like, once Randy came out, I thought the final stretch was like electric.
That's like
in that match.
30 minutes into the match. It's like, holy.
And that super RKO I thought looked
that was
awesome
cool.
as well. And like the nice touch of Randy like giving the win to Cody, like them kind of teaming up.
Yeah.
I liked it. I do. Yeah, I feel you need to do more and try to come up with more creative things. We've seen, Hell in a Cells where in the recent years, like post No Blood, like some have been like quite dull. Some you've seen them try, okay, what can I do that's different that we haven't done? And they've been the ones that have been more successful. I liked Cody bringing out the bull rope as well, which we've seen before, a callback to his Hell in a Cell match with Seth, but them using it together. There was definitely stuff I liked with it, but I do feel there are handcuffs on these matches a little.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to, I'm hoping, this new era, like you have blood all the time in UFC, like, can't we just have some blood sometimes?
Yeah. B Detroit in the chat, shout out B. He's saying he's all set for gore this month. He says, I'm good, man, because we got some in AEW. But like just anything other than like the same things. It's like all the crowd cares about is get the tables, and then you get the table, and it's like someone goes through a table. Whoa, it's like just a little
over tables.
Yeah, it's like a little contrived. It's like kind of boring, and now you're just repeating the same spot a lot throughout. Again, I thought the men's was better than the women's, but for a War Games, definitely like I wanted a bit more.
I thought they built up the anticipation for Randy really well, with like the through long storyline of is he going to show up, and him not coming out when his music him not coming out when the buzzer went down, bring out Rhea first with the money in the bank and all that, and then it got that huge reaction when Randy returned,
looking yoked,
looking huge. I'm happy Randy's back. I really liked Randy when he first started, when he was like the rookie and the legend killer and all that, and then he was dull for me for years and years, and it's just been like the year leading up to his injury where I really got into him again. He felt like really motivated. And I think him coming back, especially after this injury, but where by all accounts, like doctors were telling him he probably shouldn't come back to wrestling. And he was like, nah, fuck that. I want to. I think he's going to be super motivated. And you've now got like quite a fresh, like upper mid card. And like top stars in the company for him to work with. We still haven't had the Roman match yet, which was kind of, I think
that's the Rumble
teased. That should be, I think. And yeah, I saw some like fan cams. He was indicating 10 more years as he was leaving. He's like, I ain't leaving. He was putting up
10 more titles.
10 more titles, 10 more years.
What is he, 14 time?
Yeah, 13 or 14.
Yeah,
he can do it.
Yeah, I think Roman v. Randy at the Rumble. Then you have the story of like Randy and Cody will be boys going forward a bit. And then kind of like teasing, like if Cody wins the Rumble, then I'll face you, Randy. But then Randy never wins the belt from Roman. And then it is Cody versus Roman, hopefully. But yeah, him being back is a big move as well. Like good time. Like again, you're stacked for WrestleMania.
I think again as well, like there's a lot of baby faces at the moment. So I think you could have Randy run as baby face for a little bit, but eventually you need to turn him heel, especially for a Cody feud.
Unfortunately, no RK Bro.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll mention that.
You see Riddle's tweet?
Yeah.
He tagged WWE, tagged CM Punk and said, wow, you think I had attitude problems? And everyone's like, it's kind of a different thing. CM Punk likes Pepsi. You like a lot of other things. What else happened on this show? We had the Gunther versus Miz match. I definitely got into that. I don't think it got to maybe the level that in my mind I thought it would get to. How do you think about that?
I'm exactly the same. This was actually the match I was most looking forward to on the show, and I do think Miz stepped up. It's definitely one of Miz's better matches.
Yeah.
But I think this could have gone to the next level. I think Miz needed to take a bit more punishment. He didn't take anywhere near enough chops. Like after this match, he should have been hitting Instagram, showing the welts and bruises on his chest. And it didn't get to that level. I thought it was good. I thought they did a great near fall spot with the low blow and skull crushing finale. Like the bar definitely bit on that. I thought they had a good match, but I was expecting like just that, you know, the real like Gunther like bullying this guy, and they did still kind of show like Gunther looking at him at the end, like, okay, you had a bit more in you than I was expecting, but it still felt more of a Miz match than a Gunther match.
Yeah,
like a high level Miz match.
I wouldn't go that far.
High level Miz match.
That's it's like an oxymoron right there. I don't. I think I really bit on the not really. I'm like, there's no way he's beating him, but the double low blow and the skull crushing finale was fantastic. But everything else felt pretty like a Miz match. So I was like, I wanted him to do chop battle, and you didn't really even do that. So I was like, that was all you really needed to do.
Yeah,
was just chop him back.
Yeah.
You've been wrestling for fucking 10 years. You don't know how to chop.
Like, just do it. Like doing the bit where, you know, he's getting chopped and then he does the fire up. Like, come on, is that all you got? Something like that, where you go, oh shit, Miz is bringing it.
He tried to do
never really got.
Yeah,
there.
he tried to do the Danielson stuff, right? Because he does the kicks,
Yeah.
but it's like, dude, like, can you at least like practice on a bag once in a while?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's still the Miz to me, but I was expecting a bit more. The rest of the card.
So you had Santos and Dragon Lee.
Honestly, kind of the same thing. You know, these two could go for like 10 minutes and absolutely astonish us, but they went like 7 minutes, and it was just like, okay, cool.
I was busy marking trivia during this
Fair
match,
enough,
I think, so I didn't. I would like to go back, but yeah, I wouldn't say there was anything that took my eye off of marking trivia, and I definitely think there is more. I've been loving Santos since this turn.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Like
I caught SmackDown this week as well, and I think he's really elevating himself, and I think by the time we come to Mania, when I assume doing Rey versus Santos, like he's going to feel like a mega heel taking on Rey Mysterio.
He should be the guy to take Rey's mask.
Yeah.
In WWE. I know, obviously, Kevin Nash in WCW, but like Rey Mysterio, following his social media, he's getting a little fed up of wearing this mask a little. I think he's posting photos where he's like, I'll just do this and like cover his face and stuff. I'm like, I know you just want to like be able to go to a restaurant with your wife and take photos when you want, and like, why not? And I don't think Santos is cutting his hair, but hair v mask at WrestleMania. He's got
beautiful hair, doesn't he?
Yeah. The thing with Santos is I'm loving it. I'm always loving his fits, man. We would go off on NXT of the way this guy dresses. Loved his drug rug. Yeah. Love that. But I need, if this guy's going like full heel, like he kind of is, like he could have done some things like absolutely murder Dragon Lee here to be like prove a point. But because Rey is out and this like prolongs that, I'm not sure what you do with him in that time. I wasn't sure why they switched out Carlito. I didn't, was it an injury or something? Was he not clear?
They've done an injury angle with Carlito. I think maybe they just realized this is going to be a better match.
Yeah. But then they only gave him like a little bit of time, and it didn't really get into the gear I thought.
Yeah, I was actually surprised because we thought this pay-per-view was going to go long because the women's match took up like the first like 45 minutes of the show. If you're thinking like entrances, video packages, all that.
Ruffles commercials.
Exactly. But then the rest like really sped by. And I definitely think this could have, as you said, either had Santos come out and just kill this guy or have like a decent like 12, 30-minute match.
Yeah.
It was a little short.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was like, oh man, I've seen both of you guys go, and this didn't get necessarily to a level I thought it could. But
where I think they've done a good job with Dragon Lee on SmackDown, where they haven't done a whole lot to like establish who he is and his character, but his wrestling has been getting him over. Yeah. And people, you can see some of his matches where people are starting off sitting on their hands because I don't know who this guy is. And then by the end, like really into it. Yeah. So, and I thought this match could have done that, especially with this smart crowd like Chicago, but didn't really get there.
What about Rhea Ripley, Zoey Stark?
I like Zoey Stark. I just don't feel like it's one of these matches where there's no way Rhea's losing this at all.
Exactly.
And I think we spoke about this last week where it feels like we're holding her away from like the big stars until it's like a Mania or a big enough event that you can build that program. So Zoey, I think there was maybe, I think the stuff with Trish was great when she was like teaming with her. And obviously like Trish's like write-off was the Becky Lynch cage match.
But maybe it shouldn't have been.
I think you could have maybe gone on and then had, if you had a Zoey Stark Trish like mini feud after,
right?
Zoey might be a bit more established.
Fair.
But I thought the match was fine. I thought they didn't click as well as I thought they would.
Yeah, it didn't get to any other level, but Zoey is a good wrestler for sure. And you're kind of right. Like they're kind of confused of what to do because like the last time I remember she was with Trish, kind of dressing like her almost, and then here she's coming out with like face paint and stuff. I'm like,
she's just happy.
Yeah. So I'm just like, all right, I don't know really what you're doing with your character yet. But.
Did you hear Triple H's comments on Jade?
Yeah, everyone in the bar gasped, and I was like, "What the hell?" I told you that I mentioned that we had a full bar watching Triple H's press conference.
It's fine. The manager was like, "All right, people aren't spending anymore, so I'm just gonna put on like NASCAR or whatever the fuck was on."
Yeah,
but because they'd have just stayed there all night,
watched the whole fucking presser. Yeah, I'm surprised Triple H didn't bring out any Mindy's muffins. No one supplied him that. That would have been a good one. But I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And someone's like, "Oh, he just said something about Jade and like how." She wasn't meeting the expectations or something. I can't.
No, it wasn't quite that. He was saying, like, kind of reading between the lines. He was saying where she was before didn't prepare her well enough, and he said like she's doing. He said she's going to be fantastic, like, and she's doing great, but we kind of needed to go back to the basics a little bit.
Wow,
was kind of reading between the lines what he said. And he said, like, we wanted to, like, get her out there in front of people, like, to show off. Like, we've got Jade Cargill and get her name out there and build up her, like, luster a little. And he said, and when she's ready, she's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, he said that she was limited from her training.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, we said it in AEW. Yeah. She wasn't ready when that, was going on. But they decided, look at her.
I think the problem is with an AEW is... Like, I understand why they'd have wanted Jade on TV, like, immediately. Like, look at her. She looks like a star. And doing kind of the sort of Goldberg run, she didn't necessarily need to have great matches. But the thing is, you can do that in WWE and have her work house shows 4 nights a week, and be improving and being in the PC every day. She's probably just rolling around at the Nightmare Factory, and that's about it. But there's training, and then there's just working and having matches, more and more matches under your belt. And
they got to be more like, wow, man, you got to do your match every day, every week until you tape it.
Until it's ready, yeah.
What do you think Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat did, man? Just do the same match every day and you'll get good.
So I wonder how long that will be until we see Jade. Maybe a Rumble.
I thought that was an interesting comment. It's kind of throwing shade at AEW, but at the same time, like, she wasn't good in AEW. The problem is they could have trained her better in AEW instead of they just used her as a star.
It's great though that we're actually getting some stuff come out of these presses, because a lot of the time it's very kayfabe and saying a whole lot of nothing. Whereas from what I caught, like, there were some newsworthy sound bites.
Yeah. Sometimes they're pretty they're pretty missable, but this one coming out, obviously people had things to ask about Punk and everything, but I thought Triple H was very honest in his opening thing at the presser, at least what we watched, because he did say the things about Jade, which was pretty honest. He didn't have to say that. Maybe it was a dig at AEW, maybe it wasn't, but also
it was just honest. She wasn't ready, and we've seen how good the PC is. You're looking at people like Tiffany Stratton, and how quickly your Trick Williams, how quickly they're progressing and getting better and better. And we've literally watched it from their first match to now. So
but overall, I honestly didn't really like this show. I know the huge cloud of CM Punk is going to make people think it's like, oh, it's an epic event where CM Punk returned to WWE. Like, it's true. Like, it's such a needle mover of a big shift in what could come in WWE and wrestling, but overall, definitely like could not hold a candle to some of the wrestling I watched last week on the AEW pay-per-view, because like there was some matches on that show that were just like fantastic. But what WWE still does is the whole storytelling kind of thing. And this one, honestly wouldn't have maybe checked it out live if we didn't really host a party, but they haven't sold me on the War Games. Like they're now 0-2 for War Games for me. I'm like, man, like, even the NXT ones, like they were so creative with
Mm.
like some of the stuff they were doing. Like think back to like Ricochet or Undisputed Era, Roddy and fucking even Authors of Pain, right?
Like I remember those matches ending and there just being like rubble
Mess.
almost,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean, across the ring.
Yeah, and I'm not
And-
saying Blood and Guts was the best this year either, but the AEW ones have been a bit better than these ones.
I think I enjoyed the show more than you, but I'm kind of like agree as well. Like I thought the actual wrestling content of both of the men's war games was pretty good. Just, you know, it felt like maybe a Survivor Series in a cage rather than war.
Yeah.
And I'd maybe give it like a 6.5 out of 10. The show, like I enjoyed it. It wasn't a bad show, but everything left me being like, that could have been a little better. That could have been a little better.
Yeah.
But then you add the like Randy return, the R-Truth return, and Punk. Like overall, I enjoyed myself watching this. And, but I definitely think you could have a better pay-per-view as well.
Yeah, Triple H was like, "Oh, I'm very proud of this event." I was like, "Yeah, I understand, but
I mean,
biggest gate,
like since like it's basically on par with Mania when
insane.
Mania was there. Like you saw the stage, like they did a small stage to fit more and more people in. You also had like your Slim Jim and your Ruffles.
Fucking Ruffles,
like,
man.
They made a lot of money on this event.
I mean, this was just one giant commercial, is what this pay-per-view was.
Do you think you could see Survivor Series doing a stadium in the future?
Possibly. I mean, if people care about the war games, it bigger means better, right? But yeah, Survivor Series is definitely like before the war games, they were running out of ideas what to do with the like 5-on-5 to the point where they fucking canceled this pay-per-view, right? At one point. And then
they were going to.
Yeah. And then they're like, all right, we'll bring it back and do this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you always get to see like a lot of the stars because it's like huge multi-man matches, but they definitely don't like hit sometimes as much as some of the
It
other.
would be not. I think next year would be cool to do, you know, a babyface bloodline. Jay reunited with them, like
Right.
them all babyface. Post like Roman's probably not got the title now.
Right.
He's disappears for a bit, and
For a bit, this guy's not even on TV now.
but
He wasn't even at this show.
I know, but like I'm thinking after Mania, he could drop it, go away for a bit, and then have a big babyface return to like reform the bloodline.
Yeah.
And do Bloodline Judgment Day. Like I don't know if Judgment Day will still be a thing a year from now, but
Right.
I think that feels like the biggest match you could do, like rather than just throwing
Random people.
random baby faces and heels together, like having Judgment Day Bloodline in the double cage. I
Sure.
think that would be good.
Yeah. I mean, WWE's got like firing on all cylinders with going into a Royal Rumble in January and then like Mania having Punk, Randy, like
I do think
big
having
people.
the two belts makes the Rumble a little less predictable this year as well.
Sure, yeah.
Because you could definitely go Cody wins it back to back.
Yeah.
You could do Seth. Sorry, you could have Punk win it.
Yeah.
I still like the idea of doing Gunther Seth at Mania, but I feel like now that's probably not going to happen.
I mean, does Punk wrestle at the Rumble?
Like in a singles.
Yeah.
He could. Yeah.
Yeah. It's calling FTR.
Yeah.
How well do you like Edge? Do you like him more than me? You like him more than me, don't you?
Have you thought about punching someone backstage?
Come on, just do it.
Cash, where's your gun?
Yeah. So I guess it's safe to say CM Punk is not the devil.
I guess not. No.
You know who it is then?
Is it
Jack Perry.
Yeah. It seems kind of logical. I've been seeing the arguments out there.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be.
I think it makes sense, but I think people will shit on it.
Of course they're gonna shit on it. Because it's
But there's not really anyone that I care if
Yeah.
it is.
yeah.
You
So
know?
it's like, are we gonna maybe MJF? He's doing it to like please MJF. Oh wait, no, he's attacked his friends, right?
Mm.
Maybe MJF was behind him the whole time. I don't know. It's definitely like gonna get shit on now that it's Punk being the biggest like draw of WWE right now, and then AEW's like, yeah, and we've got Jungle Boy. It's definitely gonna get shit on.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll get the heat he wants.
They need to get Sasha in, don't they?
Yeah, that's probably the next logical thing. What we need to bring someone in.
But she could just go to WWE at this point.
Yeah,
If
Yeah.
Punk's gone back, like
yeah, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Macho Man going back to WWE. It's like, whoa,
yeah,
this guy went back.
yeah.
Look at all the shit this guy said about them. I bet the Colt Cabana podcast is a great listen. Listen back at this point, all these years later.
I know John and Wade listened back to it in the summer.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
that'd be great.
You end up having Punk inducting Triple H into the Hall of Fame, won't you?
They're gonna go out for some
good friend Papa.
They're gonna go out for some H2O tonight.
Yeah, neither drink, do they?
Yeah, neither drink, but one of them feels like he does.
They're like at the point where they're like, actually, you and I, we're not so different.
We like money.
Yeah.
We like water. One of them likes Pepsi. I don't know if Triple H drinks soda.
Punk doesn't drink Pepsi anymore.
Oh, yeah. What's he gonna get that thing covered with?
No, he likes his
Dasani,
his seltzers. Remember he was drinking that
Perrier.
Yeah, he had his own kind of one.
Probably from Chicago.
From Chicago, yeah. Yeah.
Like $9 a can.
Probably.
Alcohol free.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, bless it. I do love me some bubbles.
Yeah, me too.
Very nice. Some Perrier.
I like the cherry San Pellegrino.
Ooh, very nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. Pepsi's okay. It's actually not really one of my go-to.
I'm a Coke
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Is that what he's gonna say in his promo on Raw? He's like, I might be a Pepsi guy, but the guys over there are more into Coke. Hey-o. Yeah, again, everything definitely like shifts and changes. What, like, if Triple H is cool with this guy coming back, he'll do anything to please the fans, as he said, and make a buck. So,
like, I want to watch Raw live this week.
It'll be interesting. I might have to. Yeah.
Which I don't always. I try to catch Raw. Like, it's, I don't normally have much going on a Monday night, so I throw it on.
Yeah,
I'm definitely like compelled to watch it.
If they say, "Hey, he's starting Raw," then like, that's gonna be a crazy rating. Like, people will tune in to watch that. I will tune in to watch that. Probably not live, but like, that's crazy. Like, I hope that they can ride this momentum. I mean, I hope this guy doesn't fucking choke anyone out in the WWE going forward. But yeah,
shall we talk a bit at AEW? We had the start of the Continental Classic this week.
I mean, yeah, we're pretty terrible, as we didn't even watch Collision or Rampage from last night. Very low rating for them, but I mean, you were going up against this show. So like,
what are they gonna do?
Yeah, what are they like opted to do in this case? So
they're gonna keep running into that as well.
It's gonna keep happening, like more times than none. They're gonna get like blown out of the water, and it sucks. But they like added like some big matches that I do want to watch, but it's like, God, you're forcing us to choose. So it's definitely put them in a bad spot. But from this week on, you know what, the tournament, it feels very forced and not like the G1 at all. It feels, I know if maybe that's just a bad comparison, but instantly it was like, you're just booking guys the way you book guys anyways.
The matches didn't feel any different from an AEW match. And I think maybe there's some things you could do. Maybe have like have the clock on the screen throughout it, because it's the 20-minute time limit, it's you only get a point if it's a draw or stuff like that. It didn't, and I think you're trying to establish it that this is no nonsense. There's no interference in that, and then right away in the second tournament match, you've got Roosh pulling out the cables and hitting low blows and stuff like that. And I know you get that in the G1, but I think if you're trying to establish something as this is like a pure wrestling tournament, you shouldn't be doing that stuff at all. Like, keep that for later in the tournament, where maybe like Roosh really needs to get those 3 points now and pulls out a low blow. Yeah. But I think in your establishing night, that like didn't really, like, it kind of rubbed me up the wrong way with this tournament. And I didn't think you were getting that like really hard hitting style that you expect from the G1. Also, this is one of the things with the G1 is it's grueling. You're wrestling every night. You wrestle like your tournament match on a Monday, you're then wrestling in a tag on a Tuesday, and then you're wrestling a tournament match on a Wednesday. Whereas this, the way it is, it's, you wrestle a match once a week, which you were doing anyway. So you're not really getting that grueling level to it as well. Yeah, it didn't feel as like, it just feels like every other AEW Dynamite, where it's like, oh, Jay Lethal's facing Swerve. I wonder who's winning that one. Moxley's facing Mark Briscoe. I wonder who's winning that one. It's because he plays the same games, those same people who job to the same people all the time. Like, he has his cast of crew who are like, you're the losers. You will get, just because it being a points tournament, you will have those losses in there, though. You'll have to. really. So
it just felt like every other Dynamite, except now you're slapping like this name on it where it's like a different
and
match
also
style.
like
It's not.
The title is like less than. It's not for like.
I don't even know what it's for. I don't even know what it's
like,
for.
I think G1's great because it's the winner is headlining Wrestle Kingdom. If you had this, maybe like not this time of year, have this in April to build, and your winner is going to All In to face the world champion.
Exactly.
It would feel more prestigious.
Also, you're like, hey, it's going to be the biggest tournament. Danielson's got one fucking eye and he's going to be in it. And we just signed Will Ospreay, but Kenny's not in it. Malachi Black's not in it. Ospreay, nah, he's not in it. You know who's in it though? Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
And Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
And Roosh. You know why they're in it? To lose. It's just like you're not tricking me in like how you came about it. You're just doing the exact same thing you're booking, except now you've called it this, and now I've got to watch these guys the same iteration because they're gonna have different matches against each other, right?
Yeah, obviously,
like a round robin. So yeah, I didn't love it as much as maybe I thought I was going to, but please explain to me like I'm 5. What do they win?
The Triple Crown Championship.
Okay, again, pardon me.
So the ROH World Title.
Okay.
The New Japan Strong Openweight Championship.
Wow, you did it. Okay.
And a brand new title that they're already merging with this title, the Continental Championship.
So wait a second. But Eddie's those champions.
Yeah. So he fucked it up in his promo because he said I'm putting this on the line in every match I'm in.
Yeah, he should.
Which doesn't make sense because he could lose to say Swerve, and then Swerve might not even make the final.
Right.
But the winner of this tournament wins his titles. Plus a new title. But that all together become one title.
Okay. I think you did a better job than how they did on TV. Because Eddie was like, so I'm the New Japan IWGP Tag Champion, and I'm also the World TNA title holder. And it's like, wait, Eddie.
I feel Eddie might be one of those people that like Tony Khan's explaining to him what it is, and he's like, yeah, got it. And in his head, it's doopy doopy doo doopy doo. And then he's like, all right, yeah. He said,
he's just thinking about chopped cheese.
These championships in every single match. I'm like, no, Eddie.
Okay, so the winner. So wait, so Eddie just, if he loses, has to give the titles to this person, or is Eddie going to eventually have to put the title on the line in the match?
So Eddie, like, basically the final will be like at World's End will be for these titles, so he won't be defending them until then.
Okay,
because it doesn't make sense for him to defend.
You're right, it doesn't make sense,
and also it means that he's probably not going to be on Final Battle either. Which is bizarre because, think 3 weeks, a month ago, this Final Battle was going to be the Young Bucks and Hangman Page with the trios. You're going to have Samoa Joe as the TV champion, Eddie Kingston, and now
Ronda Rousey.
Final Battle is before this, so you can't have him have a title defense.
So more Ring of Honor shit, yeah.
So that's
ridiculous.
I mean, it's only going to be on Honor Club. This one, it's not a pay per view, but But yeah, it doesn't look great.
Wow. Yeah, that's rough.
Considering I think as much as we haven't really watched any of the ROH TV, we've checked in the pay-per-views and they've been of a high quality last year.
Sure.
I don't think that's the case now. I'm probably not watching this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think Tony's made some missteps with Ring of Honor being one of the big ones and losing CM Punk as the other. The rise and fall of AEW.
Yeah.
No, I love him, and don't get me wrong, but that's definitely like this week's episode of Dynamite. He didn't really blow me out of the water. Loved Christian renaming Luchasaurus Killswitch, and the prodigy Nick Wayne. That makes sense, and that was pretty funny. But having Edge smash in Nick Wayne's head right in front of his own mother, really confused me.
I thought they played it well though, with his mum being distraught by it and Edge just seeing red in the moment and not really thinking. I think this could mean she joins Christian.
Yeah, she has
she's
to.
Like, fuck you,
yeah.
Edge.
Yeah, that's the only reason they did that.
I think we'll see that payoff.
Right.
Although I love just like essentially ref bumps, you know, she just gets knocked into, like
Yeah.
pushed over.
Yeah.
So she passes out.
Oh
She
my
is out
God.
cold.
Yeah, if her acting is any indication of what's to come,
Yeah.
it's gonna get juicy.
But I like they're building like the stuff like for you know, Luchasaurus to eventually turn on. They're planting those seeds nicely.
I want Luchasaurus to take off his mask and it's Tyson Tomko the whole time.
And I think they've announced Edge versus Christian for Montreal.
What the hell?
Did I just make that up?
Did you just dream that?
Did I dream that? I'm pretty sure someone said Edge Christian in Montreal, which makes a whole lot of sense.
I mean, it's not Toronto, which would be good, but
yeah, Edge versus Christian in Montreal for the TNT title.
Jake in the chat saying, "Can y'all just call him Copeland already?"
No. I didn't even. I completely forgot I was calling him.
I can't believe the commentary haven't slipped up yet. Like, at least that I've heard, because like there's no way.
Tell you what, I ain't fucking calling him Cope.
Yeah,
and I ain't calling Kenny and Jericho the Golden fucking Jets.
Oh, I am. They're the Golden. No, call them by their fucking
No.
proper government name.
Edge. And you know what, Jake? I'm calling him Luchasaurus as well. I ain't.
No, he's
this
the
kill switch.
He's kill switch.
Kill switch bullshit.
I thought he was gonna call
We've
Luchasaurus.
already got one switch on the show.
I thought he was gonna call Luchasaurus kill switch and Nick Wayne unprettier. I was waiting for that.
Yeah,
he's unprettier after that chair
I loved
shot.
his. We will be reviewing next week the Two Towers, and I loved Christian's like, "You kneel for no man," my friends.
I
you
love
kneel for no man.
Again, that promo was that whole segment was so weird because it's like Edge the babyface murdering this kid in front of his mom.
Yeah.
But then I loved Christian's reaction, like, "That's my child,"
Yeah.
which is so funny. So I guess I liked it, but I was like, I know why you did it, because you want the mom to have a reason to join you.
Yeah.
So Christian and Nick Wayne's mom are going to be smooching soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Can't wait.
What else do we have on this? We mentioned the devil stuff. Have you seen that video going around of it looks like Adam Cole's like pressing a button in his pocket? So
No.
he sat down and like MJF's talking, and then it cuts to black and the devil's on.
Right.
But it looks like just before it cuts to black, he puts his hand in his pocket.
Oh.
And then when it comes back up, he like takes his hand out. And it could just be people looking into nothing and
Right.
he wanted to scratch his leg or something. But it was
Yeah.
kind of the timing is it's like he's going doink.
Right. So he's controlling Jack Perry.
I guess so.
Jack Perry's subbing in for Adam Cole until Adam Cole's ready, which is not going to be until like after All In. It seems.
Yeah.
Like, how long is this guy going to be out?
Like Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How-
like, it'll be like March, April, I'm imagining. I don't
March
know.
or April?
I have no idea.
So he'll make All In.
He injured. I don't know. It was a pretty bad injury, wasn't it?
So like March, April, this dude's going to look like Tom Hanks' Castaway. He's already on the way to looking that way. Dude's going to be looking. Dude's going to start coming out with a volleyball soon. Holy.
He needs to like dye his hair gray, like make it look like he's grayed.
I don't know if he needs to do that. I think he'll just wait it out. It'll happen.
It's natural, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't see that.
Oh, man.
Anything else from? I don't really think there wasn't much newsworthy from AW this week.
Yeah.
I mean, we've announced we are getting Joe and MJF at World's End.
Yeah, that I like. I think I really enjoyed that first match. And I mean, I know MJF now the longest reigning champ here in AEW, but like, would it be so bad to give Joe the title? I don't know. He's never won the title in WWE. That was always like a letdown. And it wouldn't be like the worst. It would definitely like switch things up maybe a little bit and get some people talking like, wow, like Samoa Joe's the champion here. So like, I'm not against it, but also like MJF losing the title to someone else could also like make that person. So I don't know.
Especially with it being the rematch. Like
Yeah.
you feel like Joe might and have babyface Joe potentially, like it doesn't have to be a long run.
Exactly.
And you can have Swerve win it in the new year or something like that.
Yeah.
And like, because I think Swerve should be the champion.
Yeah.
And it's where you get it, whether MJF wins this one and then Swerve beats him at Revolution.
Yeah.
And then you can go back. Like,
Yeah.
you can do, like, in the summer. What is that?
There's a jet above us
Oh,
or
wow.
something. I don't
Okay.
know what that is.
The Golden Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can revisit Hangman Swerve, like, in the summer for the title.
That would be great. Yeah. No,
because you should be building the company around those two.
I feel like Joe winning would be like a whole like kind of switching things up, and you could protect MJF. Maybe the devil costs him to reveal his Jack Perry there, and people hate Jack, and that goes into that feud. But like the title run could continue and be even longer, but like it's definitely run its course. It's made him even bigger. I don't know necessarily if like Joe winning is a bad idea, but
I don't disagree.
Because then what else? You go Swerve is the guy who just murdered Hangman, and coming off that, you would imagine he gets some sort of big rub from this.
I don't want him to win this.
Yeah, me neither.
Just because of that.
Yeah, I'm kind of like this tournament's stupid because it's just going to be like him eventually losing to Mox or him. He has to win it, but then like winning these titles is not like it's whatever. So maybe that route is like if Joe goes into the new year as champion, and then like the next pay-per-view he could lose it potentially. Like that's fine. But someone who's followed Joe, like TNA's won the title there and stuff, but he never won it in WWE, and he was kind of miscast in WWE, and obviously injuries and age and stuff. But
I feel he's someone that you think if Triple H was running stuff like 5 years ago or whenever, Joe could have had his run. Like I loved that build for Joe versus Brock.
Yeah, the match didn't live up.
The match
to
happened.
Yeah,
and you just think, doing something like, let's just go with Joe here, have him beat Brock and look like an absolute world beater, and have that run, because we know he's great as both a babyface and a heel, and can totally carry it. Like he's not where he was 10 years ago, but he's not bad.
No, he's great
and can definitely carry the stories and stuff. And maybe after we've had a bit too much ha-ha with MJF's title run, like having a serious Joe, like making it feel a bit more serious, the world title for a little bit, isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely be down for it. And if not the case, then Swerve coming in there at the next pay-per-view to face MJF. I don't know if that would be the right story to go with right now, but still, because it'd make people kind of who to cheer for kind of thing, where if Joe's same thing with Joe, to be honest, because he's just been really entertaining. He's just always been so good, and main eventing a pay-per-view, fucking amazing. Like I think that match will just be so good. I really love the TV match, but I think they'll even go to a next level. And Joe's just for someone who is in a fucking poncho on commentary, I can't believe I'm still enjoying his wrestling, and I'm so happy. We just did a review of a TNA pay-per-view, Turning Point 05, and we were just a few weeks ago, we were like raving about his match with AJ Styles from this show. It's just fantastic. Like he's just one of our favorite guys. So I kind of am like, give this guy a title one time. Let's do it before he ends his career with CM Punk in WWE.
Yeah,
he'll go back. When's his contract up? He'll go back. Think of all the guys now who are like, Punk's over there now. All right, I'm going. FTR, we mentioned. I feel like there might be some other people that are like, like Ricky Starks. Yeah. Like he already had a reason to go over. His feet are already dipped in the waters over there. So
it's weird, isn't it? Like now it seems like WWE, I mean, obviously Punk's not young, but WWE having an eye on the like homegrown quote unquote AEW talent, bringing in a Brian Pillman Jr., bringing in a Jade Cargill. Yeah. Training them up a bit more.
Oh, I don't think Pillman's got
and
much
you
career.
Can have Edge and Ric Flair and Big Show and Mark Henry. And
no, please call him by his proper name, Paul White. Jake's going to get mad at you.
Sorry, Jake.
Yeah.
No BS.
What doesn't Punk hate Pillman Jr.? Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, he's ripped. He's ripped him out.
Oh, that's going to be who that is completely who Punk's choking out.
I don't know if he makes it to the main roster.
A dead famous guy's kid.
I don't think he's making
with nice hair.
Like what?
And an attitude problem. Like, yeah. Lexis King is our Jungle Boy in WWE.
That's right. Yeah, with better teeth.
Jack Perry's.
No, Jack Perry's good looking.
He's a handsome lad.
Yeah.
Jake in the chat asking any best match ever's coming up. Well,
good question.
We have just released on our Patreon best match ever Kairi Zane. With Karen Peterson, which was a great show looking at, Kairi Hojo, I should say. Sorry, Jake. Kairi Hojo.
Or Kairi.
Or Kairi, capital letters. And we have been talking about with the release of the Iron Claw coming out next month, maybe having a look at the Von Erichs, who people like not really familiar with their wrestling, I got to say.
Yeah, we were thinking of doing something related to the Von Erichs just because of this movie that I can't wait to get tickets to and watch, because that's definitely going to be an amazing. Did you see the photo MJF posted with Zac Efron holding the AEW title?
No.
Oh my God. He's got the wig on and everything. MJF is wearing a blonde wig. Oh man. Fucking love Zac Efron now.
Yeah.
He's just fantastic.
He's always been great.
People are riffing on his face. I'm like, didn't that guy almost die?
Was it he fell down the stairs?
It's like, man,
he shattered his face.
Man, people like, we're no.
Oh, that's a great picture.
Yeah. Him and MJF. So funny. I'm super excited about this movie. So we thought maybe we'll do some look at the Von Erich. So any recommendations, obviously, let us know, people, what we should be doing at. But Jake, I think you might be the most excited, because since CM Punk is back in the WWE, we thought maybe we could take a look at some of his best matches from the WWE.
Absolutely.
So
let us know some matches you want to see. Obviously, we have talked about Punk Cena Money in the Bank a few times.
We'll have to watch it again.
We'll have to revisit that one. Coming to my head, Punk Cena on that Raw leading up to WrestleMania 29.
I'll agree. That match is also really
awesome.
I really love Punk versus The Undertaker from that WrestleMania. That WrestleMania was the drizzling shits, but that Taker Punk match was so good.
The whole build to that was excellent as well, with Paul Bearer's passing and all that.
I mean, we're pretty much just coming up with the match listing right now for this show, but Punk versus Brock from that SummerSlam.
Oh boy, yeah, great match.
I mean, that's a match you could go to for a huge rematch. Punk versus Brock, Endeavor TKO would fucking jizz in their pants to have Punk versus Brock on a WrestleMania. So
two
that's
UFC legends.
Yeah, and then get Ronda as the ref. Shamrock is the ref.
In there. I'm just having a little look on. We mentioned the two Cena matches, the Brock match, CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan. We had during his world title run.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but
did we have a 2 out of 3 falls as well? I feel.
Yeah, I felt like they were good, but it never got to like a level I thought that maybe we never got them fighting in AEW either.
TLC against Jeff Hardy.
That's pretty good.
Jericho Punk. They had was the rematch that was better? Yeah, Payback 2013.
Jericho.
They had
Punk.
the Mania match, which was all right.
Yeah, it was okay.
I think the rematch where that was one of the times Punk was pissed because he was like, I'm meant to be having time off. And they're like, no, you're coming back. It's in Chicago. You got to fight Jericho.
That one's better. Yeah. Well, there you go. Those are probably some of the matches we'll be talking about. So maybe in a few weeks we'll do that. So get your feedback in, some recommendations for both the Von Erichs and CM Punk, as we'll probably be doing some podcasts in the next few weeks over on our Patreon. You should check out our Patreon if you haven't already yet. It's only $5 a month to get access for a whole month, and you can access all the shows that we put out in that month and everything that we've put out prior to that. So there is archives of so many retro wrestling pay-per-view reviews, NXT on What's Next. We do movie reviews. We do Best Match Ever. We have so many shows out now in that catalog that can eat up all the time you need for your podcasting, whether it's those long drives, those hot showers.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, smoke sessions.
I can't hear a podcast in the shower. It's too
it's kind of hard. Yeah.
We had a lot in the room today. I guess football hasn't started yet, maybe. But
CM Punk brings the numbers.
CM Punk's bringing us numbers.
Every week, he'll just put CM Punk as the image.
If you are in the room right now, please do us a favor. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, takes milliseconds to do, and it really helps us a lot. So please hit those buttons.
Yeah, follow us on all the socials, of course. Facebook, there's a Poison Rana page. You can like it, but it can also lead you to the group, which we have a bunch of people in there sharing all sorts of things like memes and feedback threads and everything. So join the Poison Rana group on Facebook if you use it. Instagram and X/Twitter at Poison Rana Pod for all the other stuff that we do. And I said we had our Patreon, patreon.com/PoisonRana. What are we recording this week? What are we doing this week? Is it Two Towers?
We're doing Two Towers.
This Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, so that means I'm going to have to watch this tomorrow.
Yeah, I might start it tonight.
Yeah, so some Lord of the Rings fans, Two Towers. We did Fellowship just a few months ago, and now we're going to be looking at that. So we just did a show with Karen, like we mentioned, Best Match Ever Kairi. We had our Turning Point 2005 review out. We just did a movie. Oh, Krull.
Crawl.
with Brandon from New Jersey. That was a pretty fun show. We were all killing each other laughing on that one. Speaking of, I'm sure there's going to be a new Eagles Don't Hunt Flies.
Yes.
That's the name of the show, right?
The name of the show.
That's coming out, I bet, with Brandon, Martin, and Dickie. I'm sure there's going to be a new What Up Doe on this very feed. There's lots of free shows. Shot in the Dark. Look at all these podcasts.
Whole lot of you to devour.
Exactly.
With your ears.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate everyone in the YouTube chat here today. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Surin, Cool Gang, Big B, Branavan. I see all of you. We appreciate all of you. We love all of you. I myself, Braden Herrington. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at the Brady.
And I am at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe and go.
September 3rd, 2023. He left professional wrestling. November 25th. 2023 sports entertainment. He's back. Ahoy.